Good morning, everyone. It's Tuesday, September 7th, coming to you live from Seoul. I'm Kim Mo-gyan. Before we begin, these are the stories we're following at the top of the hour. South Korea reports around 1,500 new COVID-19 cases Tuesday, inching slightly up, with more relaxed distancing rules applied since Monday. The Taliban says it has taken full control of the Panjshir province just north of Kabul, the last remaining area in Afghanistan held by resistance forces. It says it will announce its new government very soon. And China's crackdown of the entertainment industry continues, with Weibo imposing a 30-day suspension on 21 fan club accounts of South Korean celebrities, including those for BTS and BLACKPINK. Our top story this morning: South Korea relaxed its social distancing measures on Monday, but many remain concerned as the country continues to report a high number of daily infections. In fact, South Korea on Tuesday reported its highest ever number of cases for a Tuesday. For more on this, we have our Kim Do-yeon at the News Center. Do-yeon, it's clear that ease measures aren't a sign of an improving situation.
That's right, Mo-gyan. South Korea's COVID-19 situation has been getting worse. To be specific, South Korea's daily COVID-19 caseload for Tuesday stands at 1,597, of which over 34 were locally transmitted. As you mentioned, this is the highest daily caseload for a Tuesday, and numbers on Tuesdays are usually lower due to impact of slow testing over the weekend. And compared to last Tuesday, number of infections is up by more than 200. The increase in cases comes as Seoul and its surrounding region are seeing a surge. The capital region accounted for more than 1,000 of the locally transmitted cases. In addition, the R0 number is back above the 1.0 mark at 1.02. The rest of the country at 0.92. If this continues until the Chuseok holiday, authorities are concerned about infections spreading nationwide from people traveling home for the holidays from the capital region. Health authorities will consider administering the second dose 4 weeks after the first for COVID-19 vaccines made by Pfizer and Moderna. This comes as supply issues had caused authorities to delay the second doses by giving them 6 weeks after the first. The recommended timing for second doses for Pfizer is 3 weeks and Moderna is 4, but 6 weeks is still within the range of the studied efficacy level. In addition, the government had already confirmed that they are expecting 43 million doses this month, so if all goes according to plan, it would be possible. This also means that more people will be fully vaccinated about 2 weeks sooner than expected. This will help the government significantly in achieving the goal of having 70% of the population fully vaccinated by the end of October. The European Medicines Agency said on Monday that it's reviewing data for booster shots of Pfizer's COVID-19 vaccines or a third dose at least 6 months after the second for people over 16 years old. The agency says it's expected to come back with an outcome of the analysis within a few weeks. Moderna also filed for approval last week. When filing for the review, Moderna said it asked for conditional approval for a 50 microgram dose. 100 microgram doses are given for first and second jabs. This comes as many countries in Europe, including Germany and France, have already begun giving out booster shots for immunocompromised populations. The health ministers of the G20 have unanimously agreed to make it much easier for other countries to access COVID-19 vaccines. During a 2-day ministerial meeting held in Rome from Sunday, they vowed greater health resources and vaccines to countries in need. They didn't mention specific numbers, but said the increased allocations will be determined before the G20 summit in Rome in late October. They also agreed to a goal of fully vaccinating at least 40% of the global population by the end of this year.
A week since the U.S. military withdrew from Afghanistan, the Taliban has claimed victory over opposition forces in Panjshir province. Stressing they've now secured control of the entire country, the Taliban says its new government will be announced very soon. Kim Hyo-sun with the details.
The Taliban says it has taken full control of Panjshir province just north of Kabul, which was the last area in Afghanistan held by resistance forces. The announcement came exactly a week after the complete withdrawal of the U.S. military from Afghanistan and some 3 weeks after they captured Kabul. The group's spokesman claimed the Taliban no longer wants war.
Our nation no longer wants the war to continue, and there is no reason for the war to continue. Therefore, it is necessary for all our compatriots to know that the Islamic Emirate of Afghanistan has ended the war.
The anti-Taliban National Resistance Front, however, is vowing to carry on fighting, saying its struggle against the Taliban is not over. The whereabouts of the front's leader was not immediately clear. Saying there were no civilian casualties in the process of seizing Panjshir, the Taliban also said food will arrive and electricity will soon be reactivated in the region. Holding the Panjshir Valley is a major symbolic victory for the Taliban, as it was never able to control it when the group last ruled the country. The Taliban also insisted the new government will be announced very soon, downplaying rumors about internal disputes.
Work is underway on technical issues so that the new government is announced. We are also waiting for that, but efforts are being made to do the basic work. I hope we will see the announcement of the government in the next few nights.
While the Taliban was expected to make the announcement late last week, it was delayed with no new date set. The group has reportedly invited a number of countries, China, Pakistan, Russia, and Qatar, for the inauguration ceremony of the new government. Kim Hye-sun, Arirang News.
China's entertainment industry blacklist is getting longer by the day. The country's major social media platform, Weibo, now says it's imposing a blanket 1-month suspension on more than 20 fan accounts of South Korean celebrities. Our Shin Yeon reports.
Fans of K-pop will have no choice but to remain silent for a month. Local media reported on Monday that Weibo, China's extremely censored version of Twitter, imposed a 30-day suspension on 21 fan club accounts of South Korea celebrities, including those for BTS, BLACKPINK, and NCT. The measure came just hours after Weibo slapped a 60-day ban on a fan account for BTS member Jimin, accusing the account of raising funds illegally and promoting irrational star-chasing behavior. Fans had uploaded pictures of a Jeju airplane being customized in celebration of Jimin's birthday in October. Weibo explained this was to manage what they called chaos in those accounts and purify its online platform, which is exactly what the Chinese government has asked for. Beijing has recently intensified restrictions in regards to celebrity worship and online fan club culture. China's President Xi Jinping tightened his grip on the entertainment sector, pointing to excessive stardom and fandom as a major threat to the country's ideology. In a National Radio and Television Administration statement issued last Thursday, the Chinese government specifically called on broadcasters to ban internet celebrities that are, quote, vulgar and men that are feminine-looking. And many entertainment fans have made their feelings known on social media, pointing out that Beijing's recent crackdown is similar to the Cultural Revolution from 1966 to 1976, when the Chinese Communist Party's first chairman, Mao Zedong, restricted any forms of art and culture that didn't promote party propaganda. Shin Yeon, Arirang News.
Officials from the International Atomic Energy Agency traveled to Japan this week to start the review of the planned treated water release from the Fukushima nuclear plant. The team planned to meet with Japanese authorities, including officials at Japan's nuclear watchdog. The head of the IAEA says the agency is supporting Tokyo to ensure the entire operation is consistent with international safety standards. The IAEA will also discuss a suitable timeline for the release and ensure the process is transparent. With Japanese Prime Minister Yoshihide Suga about to step down, polls show his replacement could likely be Taro Kono. He previously served as Japan's foreign minister and is its defense minister and is now the Minister of Administrative Reform. With a presidential election in South Korea early next year, it seems unlikely the neighbors will witness any improvement in their frosty times for the foreseeable future. Our foreign affairs correspondent Yoon Jung-min reports.
The latest poll shows Japan's administrative reform minister Taro Kono is the most popular candidate to succeed Prime Minister Yoshihide Suga, who has announced that he will resign. A poll by Yomiuri Shimbun reported Monday that Kono has an approval rating of 23%, just ahead of former Defense Minister Shigeru Ishiba with 21%. Former Foreign Minister Fumio Kishida had 12% support. The poll was conducted over the weekend on over 1,142 eligible voters. Another recent poll by Kyodo News also showed Kono topping the list with over 31% support, followed by Ishiba with over 26%. Seoul-Tokyo ties have shown little sign of improving under Suga over a series of historical and territorial issues. With uncertainty surrounding the LDP leadership race and South Korea's presidential race slated for next year, it is possible that bilateral issues could be put on hold for a while.
So I think we're probably going to have to wait until after the South Korean presidential election. And at that point, we can see the political stability in Japan. And there might be an appetite for more risk-taking and a bit more visionary leadership on both sides. But at this point, I think it's going to be very, very, very risk-averse.
Watchers say bilateral ties could become even sour if a hardline candidate is elected as the next prime minister. Yoon Jung-min, Arirang News.
COVID-19 is having an effect on the country with the world's second longest living population, Italy. Italy's National Statistics Bureau, ISTAT, released a report Monday stating that the nationwide life expectancy for those born in 2020 dropped by 1.2 years compared to the previous year. The coronavirus pandemic and the sharp increase in the risk of mortality affected the life expectancy of people born that year. In the northern provinces of Bergamo and Lodi, life expectancy for men went down by up to 4.5 years. For women, a maximum decrease of 3.2 years was reported.
Let's take a look at what's going on in the world now. We start over in Ukraine, where leaders of mass street protests against Belarusian President Alexander Lukashenko last year were sentenced to at least 10 years in prison on Monday. According to Russia's TASS News, Maria Kolesnikova and another senior opposition figure, Maxim Znak, were charged with extremism and tried to illegally seize power. While both denied any wrongdoing, Kolesnikova was sentenced to 11 years, while Znak was given 10 years. Their lawyer says it's a ruling they'll most likely appeal.
10 years and 11 years in jail. Accordingly, this verdict is unlawful and causeless. It's not based on evidence. During the court proceedings, neither their culpability was confirmed nor what they had been charged with. Of course, the defense will appeal within 10 days. The defendants, I think, will appeal as well.
The 39-year-old Kolesnikova had been detained after ripping up her passport to prevent Belarusian security forces from deporting her at the Ukrainian border last September. The musician-turned-politician had become one of the faces of the mass opposition movement during last year's presidential election. President Lukashenko, who denied any electoral fraud, has been in office in the former Soviet Republic in 1994. France and the film fans around the world are mourning the loss of Jean-Paul Belmondo, the star of France's new wave cinema, who passed away at the age of 88 on Monday. During his 50-year career, Bebel, as he's known in his home country, appeared in 80 movies, including some of the more well-known new wave titles, Breathless and The Man from Rio. French President Emmanuel Macron led tributes to the legendary actor on Monday, calling him a national treasure, a sublime hero, and a magician of words. Belmondo, who recovered from a stroke in 2001, is survived by 3 children. His lawyer says he passed away peacefully at his home in Paris. And finally, over in Israel, where 1-year-old Israeli twin girls who were born joined at the back of their heads made eye contact for the first time after undergoing a rare separation surgery. The surgery took over 12 hours at the Soroka Medical Center following months of preparations. It also involved dozens of experts from both Israel and abroad.
Of course, after all the preparations and all the models, we have built in a designated surgery room. We specifically prepared for this thing with the surgical theatre and VR of the twins and with a 3D model we had prepared in advance.
The procedure is known to have been carried out just 20 times worldwide and for the first time in Israel. 이승재, Arirang News.
For the 15th month in a row, South Korea posted a current account surplus in July. This comes after a record high surplus from the transport sector and income from dividends. The Bank of Korea on Tuesday released the preliminary version of July's current account, which showed a surplus worth more than $8.2 billion. Shipping saw a rising trend with July's SCFI, or Shanghai Containerized Freight Index, spiking by nearly 285%. Meanwhile, service sector saw a decline in earnings. And looking at financial accounts, net assets increased by over $6.5 billion in July. South Korea's biggest automaker, Hyundai Motor, says all its vehicles in the European market will be electric by 2035. It's preparing for the continent's goal of becoming carbon neutral by 2045. Our Kim Sang-min has more on Hyundai's shift.
Going 100% electric. That seems to be the future path for South Korean auto giant Hyundai Motor Group as part of its efforts to be carbon zero by 2045. One of its major plans is to sell only electric vehicles in Europe starting 2035. And by 2040, the company will stop selling combustion engine vehicles entirely in South Korea, raising the proportion of electric cars by up to 80% out of its total global sales. Hyundai unveiled such plans at the International Motor Show IAEA Mobility 2021, where it shared its carbon net zero project, outlining the entire process of production, distribution, and discarding. Another noteworthy announcement was its all-electric commercial vehicle, Ioniq 5-based robotaxi. When it comes into use in 2023, the company expects the commercial vehicle to heavily contribute to reducing emissions. Hyundai's motive is in line with the Moon administration's goal of achieving zero carbon emissions by 2050. In South Korea's budget plan for 2022, some $10.4 billion have been set aside to promote the use of eco-friendly cars, fund tree planting projects, and for use with the climate response funds to slash greenhouse gas emissions. Kim Sang-min, Arirang News.
In sports, Toronto Blue Jays pitcher Yu Hyun-jin threw 6 scoreless innings against the New York Yankees at Yankee Stadium on Monday to claim his 13th win of the season. In just 80 pitches, the veteran left-hander struck out 6 before the Blue Jays went on to beat the home team 8-0 with a grand slam from Marcus Semien in the 9th inning. Liu managed to lower his earned run average to 3.77, and his team now stands 3 games behind the Boston Red Sox for the second American League wildcard spot. As the COVID-19 vaccine rollout in South Korea picks up, a vaccination center in Goyang City is offering the single-shot Janssen vaccine for those who want to get inoculated right away. To get it, you just have to be over 30 years old, and undocumented foreigners just need to show their passports. Chang Tae-hyun with more.
Local governments across South Korea are ramping up their vaccination campaigns. At the Goyang City Vaccination Center in Gyeonggi-do Province, foreigners gather to get the single-shot Janssen vaccine.
I'm feeling good, no stress, very convenient. So I'm happy to take vaccine.
Both locals and foreigners over the age of 30 can get the Janssen vaccine from September 6th until September 18th. Foreigners, even those without visas or documentation, just need a passport. There are foreign language instructions displayed at the venue, and Mongolian and Russian translators are on duty. This center in Goyang City is open from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. from Monday to Saturday. Chang Tae-hyun, Arirang News.
Like we said, South Korea ramps up its vaccination campaign, and now more than 30 million people, or some 58% of the population, has had at least one dose of a COVID-19 vaccine. But as the flu season has arrived, health authorities will also send out free influenza shots for around 14 million people. So is it safe to get a flu shot as well as a COVID-19 vaccine? Our Cho Won-jung asked some experts for their opinions.
Beginning September 14th, South Korea is giving free influenza or flu shots to more than 14 million people. Health authorities stress the need to get one on top of the COVID-19 vaccination.
COVID-19 and influenza are different diseases. We recommend vaccinations to high-risk groups, including the elderly, children, and pregnant women every year.
But who will be eligible for free influenza shots this year? Starting next Tuesday, adults aged over 65, children between 6 months and 13 years old, and pregnant women get the shots. As per the vaccination schedule, those between 6 months and 8 years old who are getting the shot for the first time need 2 doses, starting September 14th. Pregnant women are also eligible to get one from September 14th. Those in need of a 1 dose can get theirs from October 14th. The dates differ for those over 65, but flu shots will be administered until February 28th next year. But as the COVID-19 vaccination program continues, how long of an interval is needed between COVID-19 shots and flu shots? The authorities said no interval is necessary, meaning people can get 2 different vaccines on the same day, but will need to do so into different arms. However, experts have differing opinions. Some are recommending a 3-week gap in between.
The flu vaccine may cause some muscle pain or other side effects. We don't know anything about how these 2 different vaccines will work together, but I think it would be safer to have an interval between them.
What about any side effects from flu shots? The KDCA says that 15 to 20% of people may experience some pain and redness on their arm, which will disappear in 1 or 2 days. People may complain of headaches, muscle pain, and fevers, but these side effects are expected to last for just 1 or 2 days. To apply for a flu shot, it's just like booking COVID-19 vaccine. People can make reservations at a local medical center via KDCA website or by calling directly. Meanwhile, those who are not eligible to get the free shots will be able to get their flu jabs for costs around $35 by simply calling a local medical center, and will be able to get both COVID-19 vaccine and flu vaccine on the same day if needed. Che Won-jung, Arirang News.
Good morning. Today is Baekno, the onset of autumn, but more rain and strong winds are in the forecast. Dark clouds have been dropping heavy rain on central regions, but eastern Gangwon province is set to get the worst of it. They could get possibly up to 120 millimeters, while other central regions will be seeing 10 to 80 millimeters throughout the day. The rain will take a break in certain parts of the country in the afternoon. So a heavy rain advisory has been issued for parts of Gangwon province. Then parts of the west coast are under strong wind advisories. And the wind wave watch is in place for the east coast and west coast. Afternoon readings in central regions will be a couple degrees lower than Monday, hovering in the low 20s. Seoul going up to 24 degrees, Chuncheon at 22. Well, we can expect clear skies from tomorrow afternoon, while afternoon readings will remain above seasonal averages. That's Korea for you, and here's a look at the weather conditions around the world.
And that will do it for us at this hour on Arirang News. We'll be back at noon Korea time, so stay tuned. Thank you for watching and goodbye.